All right, it's time to get ready for this week's game in the Skyline Chili Crosstown Showdown, presented by Mercy Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Meyer. It's a rematch of last year's D2 Region 8 semifinal, Kings Winton Woods, and we're here today at the new Winton Woods High School, almost done, almost finished. They're working on it, trust me, and it's going to be gorgeous, with Dr. Michael Chen, who is the head team physician here at Winton Woods High School, and an orthopedic surgeon for Mercy Health. Doc, how are we doing today?
Great. Thanks for having me again.
Well, how about this, huh? Some new facilities here, which has to be, and I know from a medical standpoint, obviously, anytime you get people who are happier and kids who like coming to a place more than when it's new, right? The shiny new toy makes a difference mentally, doesn't it?
For sure. Like, I think if you enjoy, what you're working with, it's going to probably make you play better. It gives you a home field advantage, taking pride in where you're at.
Now, it's been last week, especially outside, which is where we'll obviously be Friday night for the football game. How tough is it, I know, acclimating to the summer was kind of cool, and then all of a sudden, here we are for football season, right? How difficult is that quick transition where the heat all of a sudden has been brutal?
It's hard. And, for athletes, the things that we worry about as a team physician, for our athletes as they transition to start of the season, preseason, one of the most dangerous things is actually heat-related illness. That's can be potentially life-threatening. Other musculoskeletal injuries that I'd normally take care of as an orthopedic surgeon, that's nothing. Most of the time, that's usually not life-threatening. So for our trainers, for our coaches, we want to make sure that they're doing the right things to get the kids ready for the season. To get acclimated to heat, it can take up to 10 to 14 days to get ready for that when you're kind of exposed to that temperature all the time too. And then once you're ready, then there's still other things that you got to keep ready for that.
Well, let me ask you, because I know we sometimes as adults don't do the necessary things that we're supposed to. And let's be honest, kids will sometimes be kids. But if you're talking to kids about that acclimation to the heat process, what are some key tips from you as a doctor that you want to remind people to make sure that they're thinking about all the time when it's really hot and humid?
Well, first of all, if we can try to avoid it, try not to be out in the hottest parts of the day. So that can be late morning, early afternoon. So you can try to, if possible, reschedule your practices, reschedule, when you're going to be working out outside to try to avoid those peak times. Checking the temperature too. So heat and humidity are really the combination of those are the worst. If you just got heat and lower humidity, that's actually not too bad sometimes too. But for us, kids are actually probably some of the highest risk for heat-related illness because they had less body surface area, so they can't cool off as well too. And when you sweat, well, that helps you evaporate that and that helps you cool down. But if it's super humid around, that sweat just stays on you, and then you're going to stay hot. So that's always the risk factor.
And you mentioned a couple things. I know many schools have altered and moved practice. Now that you're back in school, you have less flexibility. When you're in the summer, you can move it to the morning, but I know some have moved to the later evenings. Some game times have flipped. I know some Saturday afternoons are now being moved tonight, but you can do what you can do. And then the other things are just reminding. I know, I have to remind my son, you got to keep hydrated. You got to keep doing those simple things. We hear about them all the time, but I don't know how often people really follow those rules, right?
So you made a great point before. Even as adults, we sometimes don't do that as much, but then to reiterate that with our kids, our student athletes, hydrating during, but pre-hydrate before, even the day before, during, so again, we're coming into football season, so our games are Friday night, hydrating throughout the day. And that's not probably, a soda or something is not the greatest thing for that. A lot of water is going to help with that, or even some kind of electrolyte drink. So whether that has sugar or not in it, maybe sugar more for during the games, but definitely, getting salt in you to help you absorb that water so that you're fully hydrated. And then during the game, same idea too, to maintain that. We've had some games just recently where we've had multiple players on both sides, both teams getting cramps left and right too. So, and that, once you get there, there's no turning back. So, prevention is the bigger key.
Talking to Dr. Michael Chen, who's the head team physician here for Winton Woods High School and an orthopedic surgeon for Mercy Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, a great presenting partner of the Skyline Chili Crosstown Showdown. The other blessing and a curse, Doc, is everybody loves the turf. It really does. You can get everybody out on it and everybody can practice, but boy, oh boy, I know from our standpoint, just standing on the turf, getting ready on a Friday night, maybe early, the heat is brutal. What do you think? Is it I've heard 15 to 20 degrees maybe warmer on the turf than if you're not on the turf.
It can be. I'm a big runner now, so I was watching the USA track and field, U.S. Olympic trials, And like they were saying, like once you're down that track, it's like, 20 degrees hotter. But then they were all trying to cool off beforehand. So same thing, if we can get our players, like, they warm up beforehand, maybe get them inside the locker room, cool off a little bit. Again, same thing with that hydration. Just, again, prevention to be ready for that, too.
Now, I know you're into the Winton Woods. You've been kind of a good luck charm, I think, since you've been on the sidelines here at Winton Woods, right? So Kings Winton Woods is a great rival game. We've got it again this Friday night. So you've seen the Warriors, Chad Murphy, who I know Skyline loves having Chad Murphy as a coach because he posts on social media what he eats at Skyline, how often. He might be one of their better customers, but Murph is a really good guy, and this should be another great game on Friday night.
Looking forward to it. Both, Kings is always they have a strong team usually. We're, obviously we have Coach Murphy now as new coach. We've lost a lot of, D1 prospects from last season. So, but we've been looking good so far. So I'm looking forward to a good game.
All right, now I'd be remiss if I didn't roll this out for you too. We talk about Skyline Chili, and I know when you go to Skyline, we like to ask everybody kind of what's the go-to. Is it the same thing every time, or do you mix it up?
So I'm not a native Cincinnatian, so I've kind of tried to
right.
come and embrace Skyline a little bit. My go-to is still the chilito with the habanero cheese and some spaghetti in it.
All right, that's all right. So it's funny because you're not a native Cincinnati, but you tried it, and that's the first step. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's that old trial, but no, I love chatting with you. It's always good, and really around here at Winton Woods High School, I know it'll be for Friday night. Just be patient. Maybe all the lots aren't done yet, but you'll be able to get your parking spot and get in to see what looks like a great football game. And Doc, we appreciate your time and really appreciate Mercy Health Orthopaedics and Sports Medicine, for all that you guys and the athletic trainers do for your partner schools, but for being a great partner of the Showdown as well.
Thanks for having me again.
All right, Dr. Michael Chen, again, head team physician here at Winton Woods High School and an orthopedic surgeon for Mercy Health Orthopaedics and Sports Medicine. And if you look down on the sideline Friday night, you'll see him there. Stay cool.